Somebody can go downstairs if you like. This is the tower. The tower is the oldest tower. Everybody? Somebody, if you like to go downstairs, you can go. The tower is the oldest towers in the Małopolska region. It's from the 13th, 14th century. First, it was built from the rough stone, and later from the handmade bricks. It's 10 meters for 10 meters, almost 20 meters high, with the roof is like a 30 meters, and the walls are thick like a 4 meters. It was last defensive towers in Oświęcim and Małopolska region. So we can go up. And entrance to the tower, it was there, where is the balcony right now. Here, when we will go, it was the dungeon. And to get there, they have to put the wooden steps or something like this, and nobody can get up. So it was difficult, really. Come with me and be careful, please. Yeah, it's cool. Renovation is also only 1 year old. So just try to organize everything. So, yeah, the rough bricks are the original 13th, 14th century bricks. Cannonball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from the Swedish invasion.
So the cannonballs in the wall.
Oh, yeah. From the invasion.
It's sticking out from the wall there, look.
Quite a few.
Funny feeling that one's going to open up there.
Oh, don't. Just realise it.
Something else when you see the walls like that. Eh? 1, 2, 3, 4.
They come down. Actually, also the castle was so many times devastated by the river because it was for floods. Yeah, and also the burning time. It was difficult time. Lots of wars and everything. Come up.
This is the castle. It's not my image of a castle.
I'm just joking. I know that. On the right side, you can see lots of some kind of buildings very tall. This is the Heinz. Yeah, this side. Now, really, there's so many trees. The Auschwitz is like this. Like this. What is this? Mine?
You can see the white building directly, and they need to walk there and back to the camp. But camp is on the right side.
So it was a Russian factory?
This is the Nazis start to establish this factory. IG Farben. Did you hear about IG Farben? Maybe during your visit, they make some gas and they chemical factory. You know.
Yes, is that the original building? It's a factory.
Yeah. No, this is not original building, but you can see some buildings are still original in this factory.
On the skyline you're talking about?
Yes, the white building.
The white building?
Yes.
The white building is in new.
So just this directly
Yes.
But this is far, you
The
know,
camp was
to walk
down
there
there,
and
they had
back
to
and then
walk
back.
there and back to work.
And downstairs is the Jewish center, just straight.
Are you allowed to build where you like? Do you have to apply permission to build a house here? Can you build a house?
You can see our church, the green one, the straight, maybe from this window. You can see the green one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
This is our
Can you
church.
see it?
Our church.
Green for life.
Yeah. And I live from not far from on the right side. You can see the flats and buildings. I live there, and we have an office in those buildings. One of those buildings.
So what's your role? What do you do? Do you do a lot of tours like this? Or?
No, our calling is to bless Israel,
Okay.
to work for pro-Israel, just through humanitarian aid. In the Ukraine, we have some projects like soup kitchens and food parcels and medical aid like this, And most of important for us is to teach right attitude for Christian people here in Auschwitz, in Oświęcim. Because the fruit of, Holocaust is fruit from through the past of teaching on our. It's very sad,
Your history.
and we can teach here in Oświęcim how we can have right attitude, how we can go back to our Jewish roots, our right attitudes to Israel, and of course this place is special to reconciliation too.
Yeah.
You're not Jewish, are you?
I'm not sure.
You're not
Some
sure?
He's a traveling Israelite.
maybe grandfather was Jew, but I'm not sure. We spoke with Christian,
Yeah.
and her grandfather or father has the same name, Furman, and
Yes.
my grandfather has surname was Furman, and the Furman it is very famous surname in the Ukraine,
Right.
and Jewish
Yes.
surname.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I am not sure.
Yeah.
For people usually is secret.
Yeah, exactly.
Why secret? I start to ask my aunt.
Yes.
We have some connection with Jewish people,
Yeah.
and she said, "Don't worry." But she was a worry
Yeah.
to speak
Yes.
Yes.
open.
About
Why?
it, yes.
Because anti-Semitism
That's
is
right.
the problem.
Exactly. Yeah, they
Do you
changed
know,
the name.
we only heard this, I believe this is right, that one in 8 in Scotland are Jewish, and of course they don't know that. And then in the UK it's 1 in 5 apparently are Jewish, have Jewish connection. I believe that is in my family. But most people don't want to talk about it because
They've hidden
Yeah.
their
that's right.
It's bad experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's the religion exhibition in the castle, which shows people the items of the Jewish life and religion, and as well the Catholic stuff. Because before the war in Oświęcim, before the Second World War, was almost 70%. It was the Jewish population in Oświęcim. So lots of it was the friendships, very nice, like my grandma said.
History.
Exhibition shows the woman, medieval woman, from the 14th century woman. So this dress is Eufrosyna. This is reconstruction dress of the Eufrosyna, first duchess in the castle. And later you can see around how the fashion was changing in this time. So from the 14th century to the 15th century dresses, you can see. This is the reconstruction of this original dresses. Also very nice couple. Oh, this is from the stone. Not stone, jak jest piec? Jak się mówi piec? Kaflowy?
No, it's very complicated too.
When you just have at home warm. Stone couple? No. It's warm inside. You just see heating some stone. And this one, a real one from this castle. The museum in Krakow, they find this stuff, and actually in the Salesian church. And this is original. This one with the hair or some kind of. This is just from this our castle. So each one is wearing Ona. She was the queen of the Zygmunt first, and she came here just before wedding. She stops in this castle, and she has 7,000 knights and so many people around coming with her to the.
So business was good then?
This time business was very good. Bona Sforza. She was going to the wedding.
She wasn't being married. She was
No,
going to
yeah,
the wedding.
she was going to the wedding to Krakow.
And is that the actual dress she wore?
No, this is reconstruction of the real one from some kind of picture.
They say in England a lot of hangers-on.
Have to write down.
A lot of hangers-on. People want a bit of this, you know.
This dress is making the lady. She's I don't know. She's doing for the theater stuff, and she's doing also for this. When in Poland is lots of, actually in England and in Wales is also lots of reconstruction groups. So they're doing dresses. She's doing dresses for them, and she tried to do always properly. That the material must be this way, and she's doing sometimes by hand everything, not machine, not using the.
This one is very similar to English 16th century style.
This dress is Elżbieta Habsburżanka.
Habsburg house.
Be a very rich lady to wear that.
Yes, it was very nice time this year. And we are here, this part of the castle is the original part. It wasn't any changes here. Next stuff, it was always rebuilt. Some new owner, he does break down, put something else. So that one, this part is the real one. So many, and we just don't have any stuff from this from the beginning. So we just try to organize the exhibition only from the before the Second War. How the people was living in Oświęcim town, and we just showing some items everyday living, some stamps, some documents, some pictures, and everything what we will see upstairs. People from Oświęcim or also from surrounding, they just bring to the castle and try to organize. Let's go to the museum. We have to talk about our history, because history of Oświęcim is 800 years old. So I think it's worth it. Come on.
What does Auschwitz mean?
Oświęcim? Actually
In
nothing.
Yiddish, the Jews called our town Auschwitzin.
Auschwitz.
Yeah, doesn't mean guests.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Guests.
Yes.
Because they were guests. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Pictures, people are living here in Oświęcim just before the Second War. And there are the people from town and also surrounding. This is so keep in mind 80%. 70 beautiful women, nice men, soldiers.
Women
Probably somebody can remember.
women
stuff
always
like this.
come to the kitchen.
I'm not doing more washing up.
Sometimes your time would go,
Oh,
or
you can do this.
And this, for what was this?
This is very nice thing because just people they was buying the coffee beans. They put inside and put some spirit or something like this,
Burn
and they
them.
burning. So you can do this
Yeah.
strong or mild or what kind of coffee you like. So it is very nice idea. And we've got also 90 years old almost coffee. Looks like this one. But this coffee was the most popular before the war. It was the real coffee mixed with this, you know, this coffee like a real coffee. So, but I think lots of stuff you see here. Probably some you can find on this some villages somewhere still. This is very good for the children. We do lots of educational lessons. And actually, you can see because this one is with the glass, and it was for the ladies. They just got delicate fingers, yeah. And the one was for the men when they want to clean their trousers or something like this.
they were turned into musical instruments in the 60s in Britain.
Oh, really?
I remember my grandmother.
A man found another reason for using it.
Yeah, I remember
This kind of stuff in my grandma.
This furniture are all original from the office of the Alexander Orłowski. Alexander Orłowski was a very important person in Oświęcim town before the war. He was in the post office. It was the boss of the post office. So this time it was very important things to do. And also he was composer. He just do the hymn of Oświęcim always at 12 o'clock. You can hear this music from the this mask was quite nice. We can find the this one to the fire also, and you can do. But it's so heavy. I don't know how to do it.
That's nice. The middle of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably it's not completed. They probably had some kind of maybe person to keep it from dropping.
So this room here is obviously history.
Yeah, this is history of the May the 3rd. This is some kind of holiday in Poland. This is history how it was before. And the walls, defensive
So the scarring on the walls, is that somebody with a chisel trying to make a point? Or?
No, actually, they probably they put some other buildings there.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah,
from the
yeah.
roof, lots of people just owner changing everything. They'll put something.
So it's seen some interesting times. It's,
over where is the river? We are here. So
say again, it's Oswiecim.
Oświęcim.
Okay, and the website address is,
Muzeum
could you letter it?
M-U-Z-I.
You'll see lots of water.
Let me see.
I know I put you on the spot.
M-U-Z-I-U-M. Space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Zamek. This is Z-A-M-E-K.pl.
Don't worry. I'll put it underneath it. This one. Okay.
You have a
Thank
spare
you.
map? Hey Max. Max, this is the old synagogue.
I know.
Yeah, so together with yes.
My name is Mario Schweiger. I'm going to be your guide today. And if there are during this tour any questions, it will be a pleasure for me to ask you, to answer you. Okay, you should ask me that. But if I think you don't know something and you don't ask, I will ask you.
Yeah.
So first of all, we are going to a temporary exhibition which is called New Life. By the way, how many people are you? 18, okay.
Yes.
We just have, I think, 12 chairs, so if it will be necessary to get some more chairs, just tell me and I'll organize.
Thank you.
So here in this room, you see the Jewish exile community of Oświęcim. So all those people you see here were born here in Oświęcim, and we have even one special case. This is Elena Shacket. Elena Shacket wasn't born before the Second World War, she was born after the Second World War here in Oświęcim. And currently, all of these people are living in Israel because we have a Jewish exile community of Oświęcim also in the United States or the United Kingdom. But here is the focus on Israel. And how they came to Israel, we have also some different stories. For example, Wawelinsky, she went to the British mandate even before the war. Jan Lilienthal went another way, he went through the Soviet Union, where he survived several camps of the Soviets. And most of the people here were able to survive the Holocaust and some concentration and death camps of the National Socialists. But we were able to find them in Israel, and we were also able to interview with them. We asked them 3 questions. What do they think about Oświęcim? What do they think about Poland? And what do they think about Israel? So they told me I'm from Wales. So how's your English? Very good. Because the subtitles will be in English and the rest in Hebrew and Polish. I think your English is probably better than mine. It's a bit easier for you to understand it than for me. If there are afterwards any comments or something, we'll have a short discussion.
Dziecięcym szkolnym co teraz w tym roku właśnie żeśmy się spotkali tam. I mam dużo dobrych wspomnień z Oświęcimia. Dalej. Izrael, państwo, gdzie się moje dzieci urodziły, gdzie wyszłam za mąż, gdzie żyję na źle i na dobrze, gdzie byłam w wojsku, gdzie ojczyzna, dom, to jest Izraela.
Wspomnienia mam z Polski, z Oświęcimiu. Bo jestem urodzona tam, cała rodzina moja mieszkała. I dla mnie jest bardzo przyjemne wspomnienie o Polsce.
Oświęcim najpierw. Ja pamiętam Sołę, jak 5 lat miałam, kąpałam się w niej. Oświęcim jest wspomnieniem, pamiętam to kino, chociaż byłam bardzo młoda, ale pamiętam szkołę. I jest bardzo przyjemny i nigdy nie zapomnę. To nie jest Oświęcim, co był Auschwitz. Każdy, jak mu mówię, że się urodziłam w Oświęcimiu, to jak nie mówię gdzieś była, ale gdzie się urodziła. To nie jest tak. Oświęcim przed wojną był przyjemnym i specjalnie dla Żydów. I było bardzo przyjemne miasto.
פולין בשבילי זה ההיסטוריה של העבר שלי, קוראים ה-ancestors, האבות שלי, מה שהיה בעבר, כל ההיסטוריה היהודית, לא כל ההיסטוריה, אבל הרבה מההיסטוריה שאני מכיר, הרבנים לפני 500 שנים, הרבה מהטקסט העברי או היהודי שאנחנו מכירים, וזה מה שלמדתי מאז שהייתי ילד קטן, זה פולין. בישראל זה העתיד שלי, זה כל מה שאני יודע, מה שאני באתי לישראל לגור פה, אחרי המלחמה המשפחה שלי הגיעה לארצות הברית, אבל בכל אופן אני הגעתי כאן לארץ ישראל, כי אני רואה את זה בתור העתיד שלי ושל העם היהודי.
פולין בשבילי מקום מורכב, קשה. אי אפשר להגיד עליו דבר אחד. מצד אחד אני יכולה להבין את הגעגועים לשם, מצד שני, במקום לברוח ממנו. Oświęcim, kiedy נאמר ככה Oświęcim, אז יש איזה של מקום של בית. וישראל בשבילי זה באמת הבית שלי, וזה מקום קשה, מקום מורכב, אבל זה הבית שלי. פולין בשבילי זה משהו שחרוט בזיכרון הקולקטיבי, אני חושבת, ובהחלט מצד אחד מקום לא פשוט, ומצד שני, וכל פעם שהייתי בו מקום מושך, מעניין, מרגש, מבלבל, הרבה ניגודים, מקום של הרבה ניגודים.
Polska jest dla mnie miłością i strachem. Izrael jest dla mnie racją bytu.
Polska jest dla mnie początek mojego życia. Izrael to jest miejsce, cośmy po tych ciężkich lat wojny, cośmy przyjechali i to jest tutaj moje nowe życie. I started my new life. Tutaj zaczęłam moje nowe życie i moje całe życie.
Polska jest dla mnie...
Okay, so let's have some small impressions of the Auschwitz community who lives in Israel now. So do you have any comments or questions or things you recognized? Was anything strange to you? Anything which you did not expect?
Yeah, quite friendly, very happy, even though they've been through so much oppression. They seem very peaceful in themselves, but they've suffered so much.
Also, how they looked back to Auschwitz?
Yeah, well, it's it. Yeah, I was surprised that they were like that about it when so bad things happen.
Anyone who thinks different or the same?
Can you explain the differences between Auschwitz and Auschwitz?
It's a good question. The name is the same, literally the same, because Auschwitz is just a German name for the city. But now, due to the history, Auschwitz is usually used for the city here, and Auschwitz for the camp. So if you say Auschwitz, it means former concentration camp, and if you mean Auschwitz, you mean the city. But for us German speaking, it's quite difficult to remember the name Auschwitz. So even German speaking Poles say mostly Auschwitz, even though they mean just the city. And people who just don't remember the name Auschwitz say also Auschwitz or Auschwitz, because they heard something.
What do you mean by German speaking Poland?
There is still a German speaking minority here in Poland. Before the war, today's western part of Poland was German. From, I think it went until, I'm sure how far, maybe not that far, not until Katowice, Breslau and Danzig, this was all German. And after the war, Stalin wanted to have more of Poland, but the Poles are not very happy with that because they lost Lemberg, which is claimed as the origin of the Polish people, and so on the other side was Germany, and Russia wanted to have more, so that there is a smaller Poland. So Stalin agreed, okay, we can Poland move to the west, so Germany is losing land, they will lose the war anyway, so we concluded. So a lot of Polish people were deported from the eastern parts of Poland and to the west, which they call repatriation. This is repatriation in German, repatriation. But the question is, how can you repatriate something which was never patrioted? So this was all to this. I heard that you also wanted to see the second one?
Yeah. The second is very important.
How much time do you have?
We don't have limits. Today we have a Shabbat.
You also
we have time to visit them, then we want to have a Shabbat.
Are you a Jewish group?
Our hearts are pro-Israel. Our hearts are pro-Israel. Because Yeshua, he was a Jewish Messiah and he saved us. And we want to serve his nation. Can you explain maybe? Christian
Messiah.
He just said because we love Jesus. Because of this, we love Israel, because Jesus was Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was not sure.
For us, it's very simple.
We
are all pro-Israel.
I have some friends in Austria too, so I know this movement. I didn't. Yeah.
No.
Because he was. I was just not sure if this is a Jewish group because of the Shabbat. Okay, now I know.
Like we do Shabbat.
Okay, no, I understand. Okay, so now we go to our second. And I think I have to take some chairs.
This is the mezuzah that was on the door of my house where I lived in Auschwitz. 20 years ago, when I went back to Poland, the landlord showed me that there is something at the door. He constantly paints it over. He showed me and I saw the mezuzah. He gave it to me and I took it and he cleaned it up, put it in the new side. But the only thing that I have is this mezuzah. Each time I look, I think of my parents, my family. Good memories I have with them. Auschwitz was a small town, but a very nice town. If you talk to people about Auschwitz, they think that Auschwitz was the crematorium, the gas chamber, but it was a town.
Beautiful houses, flowers, gardens. Then we had a river, the name is Soa, and there used to be a tremendous park, and we used to bathe there.
This was the birthplace of my mother, which dates back to, the maiden name was Enoch, E-N-O-C-H. And the Enoch family dates back to the 16th century in the city of Auschwitz.
It was a very good place to live. It was considered, at one time they called it Little America, because it was a prosperous town.
It was a very Jewish-oriented town. There were a lot of yeshivas, there were a lot of places of worship. There was the main synagogue with the big shul.
It was a nice town, a very nice youth, and my childhood was beautiful.
Six children, and we were a very happy bunch. We always waited for the Sabbath, Shabbos. So, as my mother used to bake quite a few cakes, various types of Streisel moon cake, cheesecake, and maybe 4 or 5 different cakes.
It was 2 big beds, father and my mother. There was a children's bed with the youngest, my 2 sisters, they slept in there. And then I had a couch, and the baby was sleeping between father and mother's bed. They had been put in a couple chairs. That's what the baby was sleeping. We played mostly, we played hide and seek, or I was with my friends, we used to play soccer, but we didn't have a ball. We had the soccer ball was made out of old socks. Made a ball, that's what we played with.
The whole house was not air conditioned, it was not heating, and the bathrooms were outside, not in the apartments, and it was no gas, it was only rooms, and in the kitchen, but the kitchens was only you can use is coal or wood or something. There was no running water. And this is the way I was born in this particular house.
When I was growing up, there was no television, hardly radio, a telephone practically non-existent, but we had a very cultured intellectual life. I can say that with great pride, really.
I went to a regular school, and the school was named Hoffman. And all the boys and girls together. And then I had private people coming to the house that taught me Yiddish and German. Because my mother said if I know German, I can go the whole year. I wouldn't get lost.
I went to a Polish school and I had friend Polish girls. But I think in the store, the customers were Polish, mostly Polish people. But socially, they were mixed.
I went to public school, Polish public school, and afternoon we went to a Jewish school. So our day was full. At 4 o'clock I used to have a break. I used to go to my grandmother to get my little piece of bread, which she knew I liked the edge from a rye bread with caraway seeds. And she put some fresh homemade butter, and this was my afternoon meal. And I went back to the Jewish school.
That was a very rich, really a rich Jewish life. I think that 99% of the youth in Oświęcim was organized. There were all kinds of organizations, started from the right Zionists to left Zionists and Bund and communists and Mizrahi and the very, very Orthodox.
When I was 11 years old, he sent me to the Bobovik Yeshiva. I was very religious down there. And I was going, in the meantime, I was going several times to the Bobovik Rabbi himself. He was a very, 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 very big person in Poland. Very big person, the Bobovik Rabbi. He has got, in every city, he has got a synagogue. I was going normally every month, every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks, I was going to the Bobovik Rabbi. He knew me already. I mean, it's not easy to get to the rabbi, but I got in. And I was prepared for this pshetel. Pshetel means speech from the Talmud and from the higher Talmud. We call him Gemur, then we call him Toisevis, and then we call him Bershu, and we call him Rambam. This is, it's not easy to learn that. Very tough. It took me 2 years. And I was prepared to go to the Bobovik Rabbi Shibin, and I got a dinner. It was over 400 people on the dinner. And I was standing on the top of the table, and I hold a speech. And a lot of people asked me different questions from the things, and I told them everything. I never failed. And I did tremendous. The Bobovik Rabbi, after the speech, he came to me, he gave me a kiss.
I was taken by somebody, an older friend, and I was introduced to the Zionist movement. And I really feel that I grew up there. I belong there and I work there with my heart and soul. I was really a dedicated member in that movement.
My father belonged to the Radomska Hasidim. The Radomska Rebbe didn't live anymore in Radomsk, but he moved after the First World War, he moved to Sosnowiec. And Sosnowiec was just about 30 kilometers away from Auschwitz. And the first time my father took me, I was a kid, I was about 7 years old. He took me to the Rebbe to see the Rebbe. And then I was 10 years old. And just before the Bar Mitzvah, he took me over to the Rebbe too. Every Saturday night, the Rebbe went in a separate room, and he took audiences from the Hasidim. I remember that Saturday night, Saturday night, me and my father went in. The Rebbe was sitting in a chair, like, a leather chair. It was a short Chip around, he had long big eyes, look at you. And my father came in and walked in, and everybody had to have a piece of paper, and they wrote down the Hebrew name, the mother's name, and the whole family, the Hebrew name and the mother's name, Hebrew name, and he wrote down what his, what famous or what he wants to play for. And he gave, he sat there, and the rabbi had a couple candles lit on the table, and he gave that piece of paper, that sheet of paper, and the rabbi sat there and he read it, read all through it. No, tell me, what are you going to tell me? And I was standing in the back, shaking like a leaf, so my father was young, this is my son. He's going to be by myself in 4 weeks. So the rabbi, I listen. See to it, he has a little bit more Yiras Shamayim. You know what I mean? See to it, he has a little bit more fear of God.
So when they baked the matzahs, you could smell it in the street. The brothers were going to the yeshivas every day. 5 o'clock in the morning they started already to learn. They went with a little lantern because there was no street lights. They learned. They came home for the meals. Everybody that came home, I was a little girl, everybody kissed me.
We all have friends coming to our house, always, even my sisters, my friends, there's always some people, some friends in our house.
Open space with a lot of land around us, meadows, and I felt like a free spirit, running around barefoot and climbing fences and trees. And I have wonderful feelings of that period.
We were 5 children who were sitting every Saturday at the Saturday meal and Friday evening, and we were singing Zenirot, and even my mother and my sisters were singing together. This was my fondest memories that I had.
Great synagogue in Oświęcim.
So this is down here?
Yeah. Christine, would like to see some things from the Great Synagogue?
Yeah.
They find.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
from the Great
I showed
Synagogue that you showed me
was,
yesterday.
yeah.
All of you are older than 18, or well, 19. May I see your passport? My friend had that. Friend had it, yeah. Was my answer too. Okay, so about the city of Oświęcim. Before the Second World War, we had about 14,000 inhabitants here. About, how many of them would you think were Jewish?
70%. 70%.
70%?
Yeah.
We're in Western Poland, not in Eastern Poland.
80%?
80%. The Jewish majorities were in Eastern Poland, not in Western. In Eastern Poland, which is now about the west part of Belarus, before before the Second World War, this was considered as Eastern Poland, and those were the places where the Jewish majority and also only Jewish cities were. Minsk, for example, where I was a couple of days ago, had before the Second World War 51% Jews. So those were the places. But here we are in Western Poland, and some of those places were even Germany or Austria. So not many Jewish people used to live here. But what do you think? 70% is a bit too much?
20%.
20%?
Yeah.
So this was more or less the average in Western Galicia. But Oświęcim was a special case. In Oświęcim we had 50% Jewish inhabitants. This means 50 to 60, it depends which source, on which source you rely. But we can say about half of the city was Jewish, so 7,000 to 8,000 people. So the Oświęcim was a spiritual and a religious center for Jews in Western Poland. And we see here in this picture, this building here, this was the Great Synagogue. It had space for about 2,000 people, so it was a great synagogue. And this was more or less the center. Now, the story of the synagogue shows the story of the Jews here in Oświęcim quite well. Because the synagogue was donated by a non-Jew to the Jewish community. This was anywhere, I think, in the 15th or 16th century. And the everyday life was, for the Second World War, quite peaceful and also very good. Of course, the synagogue was not donated in this dimension because it was a very big building. After the donation and before the Second World War, the whole city was more than once destroyed. I think once by the Swedish and once by anyone else, but it was destroyed, and I think just 13 houses survived, so everything had to be new built more than once. The synagogue was destroyed in September 1939 when the Nazis invaded Poland, and first of all Jews were forced to clean up the ruins. After that they were deported into 3 different ghettos, the most known as Sosnowiec and Chrzanów. And of course, some of them were able to flee, for example, to Russia, how we saw Jan Lilienthal, or to Israel. To Israel will come a bit later. But after that, it was also just a question of time until also the Polish population were deported, because Oświęcim should be a German model city for living in the East, and it should get the old name Auschwitz back. But it's not our mission to tell you about the Second World War, the Shoah. You can hear those stories in the former concentration camp. Our duty is the story before the Second World War and the story of the coexistence and Jewish life. What stayed left from those period? This is for example, those two chandelabers from the Great Synagogue. Also this a bit different chandelier, reconstructed. It would have about 9 arms. So do you know what this is? A 9-armed chandelier? Okay, yeah. You also know what it is used for?
Yeah, it's the Rosh Hashanah. Festival of Light.
So what was the name again? Hanukkah. So the festival is Hanukkah, not Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
So you also know what is celebrated at Hanukkah?
Yeah, we're getting back to the second temple.
Exactly. So
BC 168, wasn't it?
Yeah. Also in those times, Israel was a country who everybody wanted to have it. In those periods, it were the Greeks, because Alexander the Great conquered Israel. Then after his death, the Seleucids got this part, and they put a temple for Zeus into the temple of Jerusalem, and Jews were not very happy with that. Surprise! And they fought a guerrilla war against the new introducers, and they won. And with the lighting of the big menorah, this is the 7-armed chandelier, also in this period Nokia slide today as remembrance. Here we see some other things. For example, the Ner Tamid, which is the eternal light. You'll find such a Ner Tamid in every synagogue. And the meaning of the Ner Tamid is quite interesting. Because who remembers Exodus? The book of Exodus? The book when the Jews went from Egypt to Israel. You know, have you been there? Because how did the people from Israel find a way out of Egypt to Israel? Well, they actually didn't really find it because they went 40 years through the desert, but how did they know which way they should take?
You follow the cloud.
You cannot see clouds in the dark. Pillar of fire, exact. And this Ner Tamid is a symbol for those pillar of fire, and this is also the reason why you find it in any synagogue in the world. So all those things, all those things were dug out in 2004 by a Polish-Israeli expedition because the Jews were able to
Wielka Brytania, British? Przyjeżdżacie tutaj, tu przyjeżdżacie do Oświęcimia i widzieć, co się tu działo. Każdej tutaj zwiedzić, jakie tu przerażające. Ja mam 80, ja to pamiętam. Ja pamiętam, co się tutaj działo, bo Boże, bo pracowałem z więźniami. Panie nie rozumieją tego, nie. I co tutaj się działo po Oświęcimiu.
Could you just a bit more?
Przepraszam, że tak.
He remembered this period during the Second World War very well, and he worked with prisoners during this time.
Jestem jeden z ostatnich świadków przerażających wydarzeń, jakie się działy w Oświęcimiu.
Dziękuję.
Życzymy Bożego błogosławieństwa.
A dziękuję. A ktoś tu mówi po polsku?
No, jest taki jeden, z Oświęcimia.
A z Oświęcimia pan jest?
No tak.
A to może mnie pan zna, albo ja pana.
Możliwe. Witam serdecznie.
Bo nie był pan przy nakręcaniu filmu?
Nie przypomnę.
Nie nazywa się pan, nie mieszka pan tu gdzieś blisko, nie?
Na Zasobu mieszkam.
A na Zasobu.
Mieszkałem w mieście Niemieckim. Nazwisko moje Gaweł jest.
Proszę?
Gaweł.
Gaweł?
Gaweł.
A Gaweł, no było takie nazwisko Gaweł.
Jest jeszcze.
Pan tłumaczy, co?
No troszkę, próbuję.
No bo ja mówię prawdę, ja jestem jednym z ostatnich świadków tych przerażających, mam 87 lat. Proszę pana, z tych świadków żywych, lekarz mi powiedział w zeszłym roku, ja nie mam prawa, ale ja mam obowiązek przekazywać to, co widziałem.
The doctor says to him, you need to tell about the history. It is important because it's like living history.
Bo tych ludzi już jest, może więcej, jest już bardzo mało tych świadków.
Few people can still remember about this period. This is more important. It's like first-hand history.
Jest pisane, ale tych już jest bardzo mało. To już są po 80 przecież, prawda? Ja miałem 16-17 lat i jak to wiedziałem wszystko. Ale bardzo jesteście wspaniali ludzie, że przyjeżdżacie do jesteście szlachetni ludzie. Szlachetni ludzie jesteście, że przyjeżdżacie do Oświęcimia, wiedzieć, co tutaj się działo. To jest niewyobrażalne.
Miejscowi także tu są. Również miejscowi są. To nie można powiedzieć, że tu przyjezdni.
No tak.
Ja jestem też z Zasobu.
Ja nie wiem, co ten pan mówi.
Że też jest z Zasobu.
Też jestem z Zasobu. Tutaj Po drugiej stronie są.
No właśnie.
Aha.
Mieszkańcy także są.
Tylko, że pan jest młodszy.
A no.
No. To jest ta różnica, że pan jest młodszy.
Zdarzyło się być młodym jeszcze.
A jak to na ciebie? Przepraszam bardzo.
Yeah, bless you.
Okay.
So, okay, the Jews were able to hide the synagogue's treasure under the fundament of the synagogue. And I think in 2002, the Jews of Israel got a plan by a survivor who went to Israel, and he found also from Polish University the option to get all those things out. And you see, they're here. So now I'm going to be a bit provocative.
Yeah.
May I say Auschwitz was a good place for Jews? Auschwitz was a good place for Jews.
No, Auschwitz.
Good place for
I say Auschwitz.
Auschwitz is permanent for Jews, unfortunately.
We have a map from 1916. So First World War was going on, and it's written Auschwitz here. 1916. 1916. Can you come to the map to see? But you can also trust me, Auschwitz is written here.
I see.
Why do we have on this map Auschwitz? No? All, this part of Poland was before 1939 never part of Germany.
Mainly Germans lived there. Maybe there's some people but the same.
No?
Okay.
And I also don't think Germans live there. They were in Silesia, this is Galicia. So why is this map?
Because this part of Poland belonged to Austria, and they changed this name. But also, during the history period, we had only one name, Oświęcim. But different nations start to change our town, our name. During the Second World War, the Nazis start to change our name, and they called this name Auschwitz. Also before Second World War.
Yeah, because this name was given to the city by the Austrians, not by the Germans.
Yeah. But this is not original Polish Auschwitz.
So what is the original Polish name?
Auschwitz. Oświęcim.
Oświęcim, even in the 12th century when the city was founded.
Yeah.
Even in the 12th century they gave the city the name Oświęcim.
You know, it was not really Auschwitz from the beginning.
But in the very early beginning it was also not Oświęcim.
Yeah, Oświęcim is also.
But Oświęcim is neither German nor Polish.
It's Yiddish.
It's Yiddish, yes.
It's Yiddish, it's not German. It's not.
I told you, but it's also not Polish.
But most population was Jewish.
Yeah, this was
you
true.
need to accept this.
Yeah. This is something I wanted to tell you now.
Yeah. Okay.
So to explain this in the city, so this part belonged before the First World War to Austria, to the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. So here in the south, the big yellow one, this is Austria. The red one, this here is Prussia, Germany. And the green one, this is Russia. Where is Poland? Exactly, in those period of 100 years, Poland did not exist, and it was split between Austria, Germany, and Russia. The southern part belonged to Austria, and are you Polish?
Yeah.
Okay, which one was the best part?
Which part?
Yeah. No. Which part of the parted Poland? Which part was the best?
You mean
which occupier was the best?
I don't know.
Occupied ist in 10 Minuten ist ja das Treffen dann in der Synagogenraum. Also wenn ihr noch die Synagoge und so weiter sehen wollt, dann würde ich da jetzt einmal...
Stehen Schlüssel drinnen?
Was?
Stehen Schlüssel drinnen?
Ja, Schlüssel liegt auf...
Sehr gut.
You know, occupied doesn't occupy. It's
yeah, but,
not good or...
Yeah, but who was the best of those Austria, because the Austrians were those ones who gave it to the Polish name bank, who allowed the Polish to speak Polish again, and to give also Polish clerks the option to work here. So, unfortunately, we have now to move to the synagogue and then go back because we have just 10 minutes left.
Kevin, what have you done?
You been trouble today?
Oh no. You haven't been drawing moustaches on people, have you?
No,
Anything
no.
like that?
I was just thinking about that. It was in my mind, and I'm thinking, is that what I've been called to do? Kevin doesn't think so. Oh no, I wouldn't do that. I'd make the shoes a nice curly one. What did you say? Curly that side and then up that way.
Yes, sir. Will Les understand?
Yes.
Les, she's talking to you now. She's just texted you.
Are you ready?
Are you ready? I just said it's hot.
The walking bank is ready. The walking bank is ready.
Would you like to say before we get there what we're going to see? We're going to see. Oh no. Okay. Done.
As we laughed, we had a ice one, and you worked out it was £4. And we laughed at the last of your love, you always so hot. We had one, but you worked it for once. And it's not
I look after my
You see why the Poles come out to work, don't you? Yes, they we lived on because they was cheap.
It was Welsh who did it. He drew the offending.
I admit it, I don't mind going to Siberia.
You liked it? Yeah. I was trying to
need a break.
One square meal a day.
As long as Kevin comes with me.
It was, no, not the same, is it? No, it was Esther. So, put them on, and the salt is dried out. They're all right.
Stay on this all day.
I looked at the first thing the same.
Królów, artystów, wielkich Polaków.
Yeah, Linda's got all. She has all hot.
Was that you?
It was. They told her, didn't they? The woman's I done it in a woman's voice as well.
You said you could do that, didn't you? In speak tongues.
And in a woman's voice, I was disguised.
Well, you're not disguised today, are you?
No.
Welcome to the capital city of Krakow, the city of kings, artists, and great Poles, the seat of the oldest Polish university, the center of Polish education and culture, and the city shrouded in legends, where the spirit of history is still alive. We'd like to invite you for a ride, during which you'll be able to travel back in time to the old-time Krakow and discover some of its mysteries. Have a great time and enjoy your ride. The Pope's window. We are now at a place where the most touching meetings with the Pope John Paul II took place. When the Pope was Krakow's cardinal, the bishop's palace used to be his home, and during his visits to the homeland, it was in this window over the main gate that he stood until the Pope's window. We are now at a place where the most touching meetings with the Pope John Paul II took place. When the Pope was Krakow's cardinal, the bishop's palace used to be his home, and during his visits to the homeland, it was in this window over the main gate that he stood until late night talking to people.
We're out well.
Stop it.
All Saints Square. At present, the city authorities have their seat in the palace of the Wielkopolski, which stands on the square. Inside the palace, one can admire a unique collection of Krakow's president's portraits. During the night, the screaming of the Black Lady can be heard. According to the legend, she was walled up in the palace as punishment for objecting to marry a candidate chosen to become her husband. The monument in front of the building reminds us of some famous 19th century presidents of the city, Mikołaj Zbigniewicz on the small square, and Joseph Ditla, closer to the Franciscan church. The latter of the two contributed a lot to the development of recreational areas and health in Krakow.
There goes my loose change. We got a race on him.
Yeah, he is. The big feet.
Oh, this is hilarious. This is so funny. It really helps us all to get over ourselves, doesn't it?
You're always looking at me, you can start, isn't it?
Is he smiling?
Smiling and no music.
He's not smiling.
No, he's looking very stern.
He's got no matches.
And then, could have been worse, you could have had a fight piece.
like this thing. No.
Oh, dear.
The Dominican Church. The Dominican order, founded by Saint Dominic in the 13th century, is one of the mendicant types of orders. The Dominicans arrived to Krakow in 1222. The present look of the church is the result of numerous reconstruction and repair works, which were necessary after various misfortunes it had suffered from, such as the Tartar invasions and a number of fires, among which the biggest was in 1850. Grodzka Street is part of the Royal Tract leading to the Wawel Hill and constitutes part of the old trade route called the Salt Road, which went from Hungary via Grodzka, where we are now, and further to Silesia and the greater Poland region. Because of its pre-incorporation character, the street has a notably different shape from all other streets which exist in the main market square. It is worthwhile to pay attention to the numerous emblazonments which are evidence of the powerful, mainly merchant families' presence in the city. A large number of jewelry shops bear testimony to a wealthy group of craftsmen related to Grodzka Street. Senate, or Senacka Street. The present name of this old street, which comes from the Krakow Republic Senate, which had its seat here in the years 1814 to 1846, and which was situated in the former Jesuit buildings at the end of the street. Kanonitra Street. Kanonitra Street is considered to be the most beautiful street in Krakow, where we can see the preserved style, charm, and splendor of its tenement houses. As the name suggests, the street was inhabited by the canons of the Krakow chapter. We may find the characteristic blazon, 3 crowns and a cardinal's hat on many houses here. At house number 1, which is Bishop Samuel Maciejewski's palace, a court and a prison were located. At house number 3, there used to be a boarding school for law students. The Church of St. Peter's and Paul. In front of us, we can see the first Baroque church in Krakow, erected at the turn of the 17th and 18th centuries. It was founded by King Sigismund Vasa for the Jesuit order, which had arrived in Krakow by then. The architects and the builders involved in the process of erecting the church were predominantly of Italian origin. The design approved by Rome had been created by the very chief Jesuit architect, Giovanni de Rossis. The 12 figures of the apostles lead inside the church where the most famous Polish Jesuit, Skarga, is buried. These figures are the duplicates of the sculptures which used to stand here in the past. And one of them, the figure of St. Peter, was founded by Pope John Paul II. The monument of the mentioned Jesuit Piotr Skarga looks at the church from the nearby Mary Magdalene Square. Next to the Church of St. Peter's and Paul, you can see St. Andrew's Church. Different from the previous sanctuary because of its simplicity and characteristic small windows, functioning as defense holes in case of danger. The church has been standing here since the 11th century and had even resisted the Tatar invasions. It bears witness to the great craft of the builders, as well as helps us understand how vital it was in the early Middle Ages to prepare churches for performing a defensive function. In the church treasury, some priceless objects are preserved. Among them, the nativity scene figures from the second half of the 14th century, founded by Elizabeth of Poland, the sister of King Kazimierz the Great. We are again on Kananita Street, now going towards Wawel Hill. The characteristic representative house with the red facade on the right, once considered to be the most magnificent manor house on Kananita Street, is the Palace of the Bishop. Nowadays, a branch of the National Museum has its seat here and houses a very precious collection of sacred medieval art. Number 19 is St. Stanislaus' house. Tradition has it that the saint lived here, thus the name. Today, the house is a seat of the Archdiocese Museum. The later Pope Karl Wojtyła used to live here in the 50s. Please take a look at the last house at the corner, called Długosz House, built in the 14th century. There used to be a bathhouse there supplied with the water from the Rudawa River, which surrounded Wawel Hill. It was here that King Ladislas Jagiełło prepared for the meeting with Jadwiga. According to the legend, the queen sent a knight to peep at the king while he was in the bath. The Wawel Castle. You can see the royal Wawel Hill in front of you. It was here that Prince Krax, a legendary city founder's wooden castle, stood in the 7th century. All Krakow princes and kings were residing here later on. It is here that the most important buildings in our history are located: the royal castle and the Wawel Cathedral, where crowning ceremonies, royal burials, christening ceremonies, and festive anniversary masses took place. And it is here as well that some of the most renowned individuals were buried among kings: Tadeusz Kościuszko, Adam Mickiewicz, Juliusz Słowacki, Prince Poniatowski, Józef Piłsudski, and General Sikorski. Also the relics of Saint Stanislaus, the patron of the nation, and the Blessed Vincente Kadłubek are to be found here. Just as the kings used to follow the royal tract for their crowning ceremony and return to the main market square the following day to receive homage from Krakow citizens, so does the procession